From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Well, are you gearing up for the July 4th weekend? If you're like millions of other Americans, you may be planning a backyard barbecue, or maybe you're set to travel hundreds of miles for the holiday. Well, here's an early look at what's on the horizon weather-wise for the upcoming weekend. While sizzling heat will grip parts of the country, showers and thunderstorms could disrupt travel and outdoor festivities elsewhere. Most Americans will remain close to home for the 4th of July, but according to AAA, an estimated 72 million are expected to travel at least 50 miles during the holiday period. Tens of millions will travel by car, while several million will fly. Thunderstorms will pose the greatest weather disruptions to long-distance travelers and people attending fireworks displays close to home. Thunderstorm activity tends to ramp up in the afternoon and then diminish during the evening. Where storms approach airports, flight delays and ground stops are to be expected. Where downpours cross the highways, ponding and poor visibility could slow travel. There will be other factors to consider as well, with western U.S. fires and the smoke they produce being a wild card. Now, much of the central and eastern U.S. will remain under a sprawling heat dome, with temperatures running up to 10 degrees above historical averages, even by July standards. As the holiday weekend progresses, the most extreme heat relative to average will focus on the northern Rockies, which includes Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming, and across the interior West. Although the heat dome will shift toward the south-central U.S. during the holiday weekend, it will continue to fuel hot and humid conditions across much of the Midwest and the East. AccuWeather meteorologists will be watching clusters of thunderstorms that circulate the heat dome through the Independence Day weekend. Now, this ring of fire effect can produce waves of severe thunderstorms. One area to watch will be from the southern Atlantic coast to the Gulf Coast, where thunderstorms could organize into a tropical depression or tropical storm, bringing torrential rain, gusty winds, rough surf, and rip currents. The stormiest zone on Friday and Independence Day will extend from parts of Colorado and New Mexico eastward to Florida and northward along the Atlantic seaboard. While there are likely to be long stretches of dry weather in this zone, the frequent downpours and thunderstorms could be highly disruptive. Lightning will pose the greatest danger to people outdoors, whether in the backyard, at the lake, on the golf course, or on the beach. People are urged to move indoors at the first rumble of thunder, as bolts from storms have been known to travel more than a dozen miles into the clear air. The best bets for dry weather will be in the western quarter of the nation, but there are wildfire concerns. AccuWeather meteorologists expect conditions during the last weekend of June to lead to a significant uptick in wildfires, especially over the Great Basin and the Intermountain West region, which includes the Cascades and Sierras east to the western Rockies, eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, western Colorado, and northern Arizona. Many of the fires already in progress or that develop may persist. Ongoing drought across parts of the West, the High Plains, and portions of the East may prompt restrictions on firework displays, both for personal use and for larger planned shows by towns and cities. The coolest weather during the holiday weekend will occur along the immediate Pacific coast, upstate New York, and New England, with highs mainly in the 70s to the low 80s. Highs are forecast to be near 80 both days of the weekend in downtown Los Angeles and near 70 in San Francisco. After several hot and humid days, New York City will return to highs in the mid-80s over the holiday weekend. D.C. will remain hot and humid with highs in the 90s and a chance of 1 or 2 afternoon thunderstorms. Now, the heat, humidity, and storm risk could all be factors in World Cup matches over the Independence Day weekend, including in Philadelphia on the 4th and near New York City on the 5th. Steamy weather conditions will continue across cities including Chicago, Minneapolis, Denver, Dallas, Nashville, Orlando, and Atlanta, where daytime temps will reach well into the 80s and 90s. Afternoon thunderstorms could keep temps several degrees lower locally. Las Vegas and Phoenix will blister in 100-degree-plus heat. Well, two humpback whales have made one of the longest known crossings ever documented between breeding areas, traveling between the waters off eastern Australia and Brazil. The findings, published in the Royal Society on May 20th, show how researchers used decades of whale photographs to identify two humpbacks that moved between breeding grounds separated by more than 9,000 miles. Instead of using real-time GPS tracking, researchers analyzed images of over 19,000 whales since 1984 and found two that have swum between the southwestern Pacific and the southern Atlantic Oceans. Now, the breakthrough came from studying photos of the whale's tail flukes, which are as unique as our fingerprints and can be used to identify individuals. One of the whales was first photographed back in 2003 in Brazil's Abrolhos Bank and then seen again in 2025 in the waters outside Queensland, Australia. Another was photographed in Hervey Bay in 2007 and 2013 before later being documented off the coast of Sao Paulo in 2019. These cross-ocean voyages appear to be exceptionally rare, likely one-time or very infrequent movements rather than part of a regular migration pattern. One of the researchers explained that although such events occurred in only 1/100% of identified whales, continued global collaboration through photo identification platforms will be essential for detecting and quantifying these rare exchanges. Researchers say even these rare exchanges could have long-term effects on humpback whale populations, with the researchers saying even at the low rate observed here, such exchanges could, over time, contribute to the maintenance of genetic diversity and to the horizontal transmission of song traditions among Southern Hemisphere populations. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com, and for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the free AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay weather aware, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.